now live.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to begin by welcoming those members of the public and press who are watching the live stream of this meeting via the County Council's website. Members, you are now aware of the need to keep your video cameras switched on for the duration of the meeting and to keep your microphone muted except when I invite you to speak. Please click your raised hand function if you wish to ask a question or you'd like to comment. There's always a risk that we may run into technical problems, and I'd ask for your patience if we do so. Should this occur, I will declare an adjournment while the fault is addressed and the public broadcast will be paused. If it is not possible to address the fault, the meeting may be abandoned till such times it can be reconvened. Could I also ask members and officers and public speakers that all virtual meetings will be recorded and these recordings will be published on the Council's website. May I respectfully remind you to turn off your mobile phones or put them to silent, please. Thank you. So, members, now I will begin by calling the names of all members of the committee to establish your attendance. Please confirm your presence now. Councillor Gardner.
Present, Chairman.
Councillor Hartford.
She's on mute, Chair.
Sorry, I didn't realise. Present.
Thank you, Councillor Hartford. Councillor Hunt.
Present.
Councillor Kindersley.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, Councillor Kindersley. Councillor Scott.
Oh dear. Excuse me. Yes, I am present. Good morning.
Morning, Councillor Scott. Councillor Smith.
Present.
Well, thank you, Councillor Smith, and myself, David Connor, obviously so. So now I will hand over to Democratic Services, who will take us through the first item of the agenda, which is apologies for absence.
Apologies received from Councillor Ashwood, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right, so does any member wish to declare any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-statutory disclosable interest, please? No, doesn't look so.
That's a no, Chair, so you can...
Thank you, Dan, for that. So now we'll go to minutes. We are asked to approve the minutes of the meeting on October the 1st, 2020 as a correct record. Can I ask any member who does not agree with the proposal to click the raised hand function on the right hand of your screen now, please?
No hands raised, Chair.
Right, so lovely for that. I see no objection to the proposal to approve the minutes as a correct record, so we will take them as carried. Thank you for that. So we'll move on now to the main business of the day. The planning application of the Wing School in Cambridge. Dallas Owen is the planning officer. So with that, Dallas, would you like to introduce the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, members. I'm just going to share the screen now with you for the presentation. Sorry, bear with me.
No, you're okay, Dallas.
I had got it on there. I'm not sure it's on there now. Oh. No, that's the wrong. Is that better? Can everybody see that now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so the proposal before you is a Regulation 3 application for the erection of a two-storey, two-form entry primary school to accommodate 420 pupils with a 52-place nursery, creation of new accesses for vehicles, cyclists and pedestrians, car park, landscaping and associated infrastructure. Your agenda pack is comprised of the committee report and agenda plans 1 to 10 inclusive. Agenda plan 1, site location. Agenda plan 2, the proposed site plan, and this is shown later on in the PowerPoint. Agenda plan 3, which is elevations, showing the south elevation to halls and teaching wing, west and south elevations to early years and south elevation to reception. Agenda plan 4, elevations north elevation to teaching wing, north elevation to halls and north elevation to classrooms. Agenda Plan 5 is west elevation to halls, west elevation to teaching wing and east elevation. Agenda Plan 6 is a ground floor plan and shows the nursery, 2 reception classrooms, 4 infant classrooms and 4 junior classrooms, staff rooms, library, meeting rooms, office and reception area, main hall, small hall and kitchen. The first floor plan, which is your Agenda Plan 7, shows the 4 junior classrooms for years 5 and 6, which are accessible by lift. And Agenda Plan 8 is a roof plan, which shows provision for solar panels, and Agenda Plans 9 and 10 are the hard landscaping. As a previous application was refused by JDCC last year, it was considered prudent by officers and the chairman of the planning committee for this resubmission to be determined by elected members. There have been no statutory objections to the proposal, and these consultee comments can be found in section 6 of the report. As stated in section 1 of the report, the application is a resubmission focusing on the previous reasons for refusal of design and access and design and sustainability. With regard to design and access, this is discussed in section 9 at paragraphs 9.12 to 9.14 and 9.19 in section site, context, design and external spaces, and at paragraphs 9.48 to 9.57 in the sections transport and access and car, cycle and scooter parking. With regard to design and sustainability, this is discussed in section 9 at paragraphs 9.61 to 9.65 in the section sustainability. I'll now take you through the slideshow. This first aerial photograph shows the site in relation to Fen Ditton, the A14, just along here, Stoke-on-Quay, Newmarket Road, the A1303, Cambridge City Centre and the Cambridge Airport, which is to the south of the site. This slide is another aerial photograph that shows the site in relation to the park and ride to the east, Marshall's car sales to the west, Newmarket Road and Cambridge Airport to the south. And this area is all part, this site is all part of the wider development that is under construction at the moment along here. And this yellow star is over where the school site is. This slide shows the OS base that shows the Susterns route, which goes through the park and ride, and this is also known as Jubilee Way, and public footpath number 9, Fen Ditton, that goes down along the east side of the school site. And this is subject to a temporary closure until August 2021, whilst pedestrian access to the Jubilee Way can be gained from the northern end of the park and ride site. This plan shows the proposed public rights of way for the wider site, and it is an application that has been submitted to the Highways Authority for consideration, and it's currently with them. Everything in red, as you can see, running along here, and in blue, and over here, has been offered to Cambridge County Council as a public right of way. Red is the bridle way and it is 4 metres wide, and blue is the cycle path for pedestrians and cyclists with a 2 metre wide grass strip for equestrians. The orange along here and the yellow, which is the Jubilee Cycleway, is for pedestrians and cycles. Slide 8 shows a red line of the proposed school site to be provided as part of the master plan of the wider development, and the construction, and the access to the school along Morley Street from Newmarket Road to be provided as part of the master plan of the wider development, and the construction access that comes in to the north of the site is currently being operated by a banksperson because it's used obviously for the wider site as well. Slide 9 is a proposed site plan and is Agenda Plan 2 in your packs. There are residential properties to the west, and the north. A lot of these, the ones to the west, in the latter stages of construction, and these to the north are currently being constructed. The Park and Ride to the site to the east, and Market Square to the south. The school buildings have been designed in accordance with design code of the master plan for the wider site. This slide shows the artist's impression of the proposed school site in the context of the wider development. So you can see the school buildings fronting onto Market Square. You can see the wooded area that forms the boundary between the school site and the Park and Ride, and will provide for learning opportunities within the school. And here to the west and to the north are the residential for the wider site. So these are the proposed elevations. This is the south elevation facing onto Market Square. This is the west elevation facing onto Morley Street. This is the north elevation, which is facing into the school grounds, and the east elevation, which will be screened from the Park and Ride site by the tree belt. It should be noted that the materials have not been agreed. You see draft condition 8 within the report. However, these materials, the slides, are indicative to give a flavour of the palette of materials that could come forward. This plan is a proposed fencing arrangement. The blue here depicts a 2.4 metre high palisade perimeter fence between the Park and Ride site and the school site. The red depicts 1.8 metre high weld mesh perimeter fence, so where it joins the backs of the residential properties. The pink depicts 1.2 metre high timber palisade fencing within the school site around the habitat areas, the reception areas and early years playgrounds. The green depicts 1.8 metre high close boarded timber fence around the bin store. The purple here and along here depicts the 1.8 metre high weld mesh fence around the hard court within the playground and separating the car park from the playground. And the black ones along here and here depicts architectural railings, fences and gates. This slide also the proposed fencing arrangement, and also shows you an indication of the types of fencing that I explained on the previous slide. Slide 15 shows a hard landscape proposal and is Agenda Plan 10 in your packs. And it shows the early years playground, reception, Key Stage 1 playground areas, Key Stage 2 playground areas, and then the wider school site with the different learning opportunities in place. Slide 16 shows the location of the Key Stage 1 playground, which is in here, reception playground, early years playground, and these here shows possible ideas for playground markings to encourage imaginative and flexible play within those areas. This slide shows the location of the Key Stage 2 playground, which is here, and the STEM Learning Hub, which is in here. It also indicates the enclosed cycle shelters along here that have green roof, you can see here, and possible ideas again for markings to encourage imaginative play and flexible play centered around STEM themes. And I'll just take you through some areas. Here's a bin store. This is the staff entrance from the car park into the playground. Obviously covered cycle area. This is seating provision to delineate between the space for cycle parking and the play and circulation areas. Key Stage 2 playground, as said earlier. This is shared cycle scooter and pedestrian access here. And this is a covered scooter parking area. And this is outdoor dining area, and this is a STEM learning hub. This slide shows the location of cycle and scooter parking again, and the area is highlighted in yellow. And as you will note, the details are to be submitted as per draft condition 20. It also shows for 30 car parking spaces, inclusive of the 2 accessible parking spaces here, and a turning head at the northern end of the car park. This car park access from Morley Street, and it's separate to the scooter and pedestrian and cycle access holding area, which is just further south again. Draft condition 21 also requires that provision is made for future access to electronic vehicle charging infrastructure for 2 spaces within the car park. This is a view looking across the school site taken from the northeastern corner, a bit of a drizzly day, I'm afraid. You can see the houses that have been constructed on the western side of the school site, and just there you can see 1.8 metre high close boarded boundary fence for the rear gardens of those properties. And this is the area for the school, the market square, and these the buildings that would be on the under construction on the southern side of Market Square. This photo is taken from Morley Street. Those are those buildings under construction at the moment for the southern side of the Market Square. Market Square in here, the school will be about here, and the rest of the school site beyond there. The next slides are drone images that were captured on the 22nd of October, and you can see the wider school site and it's how far it's under construction at the moment. Got Cambridge Airport, this is Morley Street, this is the tree belt, and the park and ride would be to this side here, and this is just further south here is Jubilee Way. This is just a slightly different angle. You can see more of the park and ride site there. And again, further out again. Slightly different angle there, Morley Street. And another angle again. So to conclude, on the basis that there are no statutory objections to the proposal, that the applicant has demonstrated that they have addressed the previous reasons for refusal, and the applicant has made improvements to the design of the proposal to take account of concerns raised during the consultation process, it is recommended by your officers to determine the application in accordance with section 11 of the report. Thank you, and are there any questions?
Right, thank you, Dallas, for your really excellent presentation. Members, before we invite our public speakers, can I ask whether there are any questions or points of clarifications for Dallas? If you do, please raise your virtual hand, obviously, function. We are also joined by Dr. John Finley. He's the Highways Development Manager Officer. Emma Davis, Principal Sustainability Officer. Trevine Montero Built, she's the Environment Team Leader. And Philippa Kelly, she's Principal Planning Officer, Strategic Sites Team at Cambridge, Greater Cambridge Shared Planning Team, who will be able to answer any particular technical questions that may arise. Welcome to you all. So, members, any questions for Dallas or our experts? Thank you.
Councillor Harford first, Chair.
Yes, Councillor Hartford, please.
Thank you very much. I didn't declare an interest because I'm sure there's no conflict, but I was a member of the Joint Development Control Committee that first considered the original application. So I thought I'd just mention that. It is actually, I think for me, a very positive matter because it allows me, I've obviously seen other applications relating to this site, and I remember very well the debate that there was when we looked at the original application, but also I have a knowledge of the wider site, which I hope will lead me to make a good decision here today. please forgive me for being a bit pedantic about this, but if I could please ask the officer, at paragraph 6.13, the road safety officer has said no objection and confirmed that the travel plan is acceptable. Should that read the condition covering the requirement for a travel plan is acceptable? My second question is about the drainage condition, which is referred to in paragraph 6.15. Because of my own personal experience in my own division, I wondered whether when that condition is discharged, officers could be mindful of the fact that it's incredibly important to understand the responsibilities for not just what this developer has to put in to deal with surface runoff, but where it connects, because that can be a huge hurdle to get over when you have residential drainage problems that relate to surface runoff. And then at paragraph 6.23, could I just ask for some clarification about what that condition was and why it is no longer required? I think it's somewhat obfuscated by the fact that I think there's an additional word condition in the 1, 2, 3, fourth line there. So it's a Sport England confirmed that the condition for the sports pitch ground condition, and I think that second one, possibly because otherwise it reads that it's the condition of the ground, not the condition that's being applied through planning. So if I could just have a bit more clarity on that, I'd be very, very grateful. Many thanks. Thank you for a really good report and for being so clear about some of the issues that were the bone of contention when this application was originally looked at. Thank you.
So with that, I don't know whether we want to take them all first or last, but probably Councillor Hartford's asked 3 questions there that need some sort of clarification to her. So could any officers enlighten Councillor Hartford, please, and to allay her fears? Thank you.
Okay, unless Dr. John Finney's got anything to add, the point about 6.13 and confirm the travel plan is acceptable. That is, of course, in relation to the draft condition. And unless Emma's got anything to add, sorry.
Yeah, can I just say that when the applications come in, they do come in with like a principle, an outline of what the travel plan will be. So what she's actually referring to is that initial document, whereas what the transport assessment team is saying is that's all very well, but you need to understand where the children that actually attend that school are coming from. So that's why there needs to be a condition. So the applicant has done an outline one, which is what the road safety officer is referring to. But when it comes to the transport assessment team, that will be the condition. So it's a bit of both is the answer to that.
Right, so happy with that. So 6.15 probably needs addressing as well for Councillor Hartford's second question.
Yeah, so the drainage, obviously, when the conditions are discharged, they would be, we would consult the lead local flood authority on the information that comes in for the condition discharge application. I don't know if Emma's got anything to add further to that.
Yeah, and that's, thanks, Dallas. That's really just to say that the lead local flood authority are looking at the whole wider context of the site as well as the school site. So what the applicant has done is connected into the wider site drainage for the whole development. And then what we also condition quite rightly is the maintenance of that and who's responsible, how it will be checked and how access will be obtained for those items as well. So that will be considered and how it connects into the wider area. So yeah, that I'm content that will be covered.
So thank you for that. So 6.23, I think Councillor Hartford's third question. So thank you.
Yes, so 6.23, this refers, if look at draft condition 13, It relates to the condition of the ground conditions for the sports pitch. So that's why it discusses in 6.23 about condition and condition. I'm sorry I didn't make that clearer, but it refers to ground conditions in that condition.
Thank you very much.
So we take it you're happy you've answered those questions, Councillor Hartford. So right, so any other questions to officers at all? Members? Councillor Smith, I think you'd like.
Councillor Gardner's chair is next. Sorry, I was on mute.
Councillor Gardner, sorry. Sally can't.
Thank you,
Carry on,
Chairman.
Councillor Gardner.
Thank you, Chairman. It's probably will come under the transport plan, but I just wanted clarification with regard to the gate that it's on the entry to the staff car park, because if that is not controlled at opening and closing times for the schools, we're going to have parents going into the car park, turning round and dropping off and collecting their children. So I just wanted some clarification with regard to how the school was going to manage that gate for both staff and to prevent parents using it as a drop-off point.
Okay, Emma Fitch might want to add something to, and Dr. John Finney as well, but that's more of a management issue for the school and with regards to the school travel plan. Emma, I don't know if you had anything further, or Dr. John Finney.
Yeah, so if I come in, and then I'm sure that we can go across to Dr. Finney if necessary. But effectively, the school is aware of the Highway Authority concerns about making sure that this is managed correctly, and we've actually put an informative on this proposal to make it clear that through the management, it needs to link in with the travel plan. The travel plan will need to clearly set out how this is going to be controlled. It might be something that you can put to the agent, planning agent, when they come on in a moment, but I'm assured that as we move forward, we can control it through the travel plan. And I don't think the intention is for anyone other than the school staff to use that car park, so there won't be access for the parents to drop off. It's also worth saying that this school has been designed on the basis of the children coming from the development. So in the event that through parental choice people were to come from outside the site, it's likely that they would actually park in the park and ride site and use the new entrance through into the market square. So I don't know if Dr. Finney wants to add anything, but certainly from my perspective, it would be the travel plan that would control that.
Certainly, we would be very supportive of the travel plan, ensuring that the gates are closed. As you quite rightly point out, Councillor Gardner, the last thing we want is people turning up, thinking they can turn around in the car park and then coming out again with their children. As hopefully the car park eventually will be, it is for staff, so it will be full or at least occupied before the school itself actually opens, because obviously teachers need to be there before the students turn up. So there shouldn't be a problem with having those gates closed during what you might call the pick up and drop off times for the carers and children. Outside that, they may need to be open for servicing, etc. But I would be certainly very supportive of them being closed during that key time. And as Ms. Fitch has rightly pointed out, if you are bringing your child from outside, it's much more convenient to use the park and ride site. There will be an open, convenient link between the park and ride site and the market square. It's a short walk, and it will hope to be a pleasant walk as well, because you'll go through a piece of open woodland and then into the market square itself. So it's not unattractive, it's not prescribed. So as I say, I'm very supportive of that being conditioned within the travel plan.
Thank you very much. That's much appreciated.
Any more questions, Councillor Gardner, before I move on to Councillor?
No, I think that's fine at the moment. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Smith then, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mine's a brief one. Basically, very good report. Sorry if I've missed it, but there was a response coming from Cam Cycle. Has that been addressed? They sent in a drawing. There was an email coming the 2nd from Dawn.
Yeah, so if I start with that, then I'm sure that's something that Dr. John Finney can come into again. what we've got here is a Regulation 3 planning application for the school site. What CamCycle are referencing is outside of the red line boundary and has been addressed through the wider site. So the crossing in particular that CamCycle are referring to was approved before the guidance that they're referencing actually was published. And it's something that effectively has been considered as part of the whole of the wing context and has been designed to take account of the movements within the site. But as it's Dr. Finney that actually looks at that from a highway perspective across the wider site, whilst it isn't actually within the red line boundary or particularly relevant for this particular planning application, I'm sure he wouldn't mind just coming in and just giving you a little bit more about that wider context.
Yeah, absolutely no problem at all with it. Simply put, the guidance that the CamCycle are referring to, as Ms. Richards pointed out, came into force after the non-material amendment was actually approved. Not very much, not long, it's about a month, but it did come into force after that. The guidance itself says that a crossing point, a control crossing point, zebra or toucan, should be installed on cycle routes which have high flows and high speeds. Now, looking at the transport assessment carried out for the development as a whole, it predicts that it will add approximately 160 cycle and pedestrian movements onto Newmarket Road for the whole development. There are two access points to the development, Morley Street and Austin Street, or Austin Road, whichever way they're going to call them. So if you roughly split those 50-50, you've got 80 cycle and pedestrian movements probably going along that cycle route during peak hour. That's roughly 1 a minute for cyclists. That is not a high flow. It's a good flow, don't get me wrong. It's something we want to encourage, but it's not a high flow. And given the context that it's actually segregated use next to a footway, park segregated by a grass verge, it will be a very pleasant route, but I don't think it'll be a high speed route. So as the highway authority, we wouldn't probably be supportive of a control crossing point in that location at any event. The lack of a control crossing also allows cyclists to maintain their momentum and travel through a shared area carefully and considerately. There's always idiots who won't, but let's be honest about it, most people do. So it allows them to maintain that momentum. They don't have to stop, because there is a risk with a zebra crossing in particular at school times. The flow could be so high, or relatively high for short periods, that actually you would stop most of the cycle movements along that road. And again, that's something that we don't want to do. So while I can see where CamCycling are coming from, I think in this particular instance, what they're requesting wouldn't necessarily operate well within the context of the site as well, because there are other areas of shared surface and shared use which cyclists will be used to while travelling through the site. So this won't be an unusual location. It will be something that'll be quite normal for them within the context of Wing.
Thank you.
You're happy with that explanation, Councillor Smith?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to make sure their comments have been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Thank you. Right.
Councillor Kindersley, you had your hand up, but then it's gone. Has your question been answered? Yeah, it has. That's it for questions then, Chair.
Right. So thank you for that. So, right. We'll move on now to public speakers. We have speaking in support of the application. I would now like to invite Lisa Skinner. She's the agent for the applicant to address the committee. You have 5 minutes, Lisa. Thank you very much. You may start whenever you feel fit and ready. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address the committee. My name is Lisa Skinner. I am the planning consultant for this project. The primary and nursery school are fundamental elements of the infrastructure to serve the new community. The phase 1 development has progressed and the first homes are due to be occupied later this year. Following the previous decision, we have worked extensively to resolve the matters raised in relation to the access strategy for the site and sustainability of the building. The new access strategy has involved detailed discussions with the landowners for the wider site regarding conflict between users around the entrance to the school on land that is outside of our application site. This collaborative working led to a new application being submitted on the main master plan that included an amended design for the school crossing. This application was approved earlier this year, following detailed discussions with the District Council and the County Highway Authority. We understand the work will commence shortly. This current application also updates the internal access design and clearly demonstrates how different modes of transport will be segregated on the site. There will be a separate access point for vehicles to the staff car park and for cyclists and pedestrians from Morley Street. There will be 2 main pedestrian access points from the Market Square and a further pedestrian cycle entrance for the early years and Key Stage 1 to the east, next to the woodland area with cycle and scooter parking. We believe these amendments have addressed the previous reasons for refusal and improve the connectivity on Morley Street and the Market Square between the wider site and the school. In relation to sustainability, the key elements of BREEAM relate to energy and water, and the building has been designed to ensure an excellent rating is achieved in these areas. The overall rating for the project will be very good. We have also submitted modelling along with building sections to demonstrate that the building would not overheat. The energy statement submitted with the application has considered the most appropriate strategy for the current situation, but also considered future-proofing the design to ensure that either an air source heat pump could be installed in the future, solar shading if needed, or any other adaptation for future changes in this area. From the design perspective, the school actively integrates with the Market Square, not just in a physical sense, but creates a community focal point. The external design has been worked up in detail to ensure it provides a strong physical presence to the entrance to the Market Square and fully integrates with the other new buildings that will be constructed. The main school entrance is from the square, and the hall also includes double opening doors to provide a direct link to the Market Square for community activities. The Anglian Learning Trust will operate the school and have been fully engaged with the design and believe the new school will meet their aspirations, with the wooded area also creating a unique learning environment for pupils. South Cambridgeshire District Council's Urban Design Officer strongly supports the application, not only in terms of the internal arrangements, but how it engages with the Market Square, Morley Street, and coordinates with the other new buildings that will be constructed in the square itself. The quality panel has also acknowledged the improvements that have been made with this application. We have worked closely with all the stakeholders, and the results can be seen in relation to the consultation feedback. The new access strategy has been supported, and the Sustainability Officer commends the approach taken to overheating and the wider approach to sustainable construction that forms part of this application. We believe the previous reasons for refusal have been addressed within this submission. There is a need for the school, and it will be a key local focal point for the new community and provide an active and integral part of the Market Square. We hope members will be able to support the application today. I have been asked to just clarify a question in relation to the school access and entrance. The school will be intending to open close the gate, 30 minutes before the school start time, and the same at the end of the day. There is a commitment to do that as part of the travel plan, and there is also reference to this on informative 4 as part of the recommendation by the officers, and the school and the county are fully committed to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Lisa. Members, have you got any questions for Lisa? Please use your raised hand function if you have. Thanks. Members, questions to Lisa. Thank you.
Councillor Hunt, Chair.
Carry on, Councillor Hunt, when you're ready. Thank you.
Good morning, Lisa. Bill Hunt. Am I right in thinking that this application is in no way connected with anything that might in the future be constructed over at Marshall's Airport, and that any development over there would require additional school facilities?
I can confirm this application is totally separate to that.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
That's it for questions, Chair.
Right. Thank you, Lisa, once again. Now we'll welcome local member for Fulham, Councillor John Williams. He will now address the committee. Thank you very much. So please feel free to start when you're ready.
If I may, we've been trying to get hold of Councillor Williams this morning without success, and he hasn't joined us yet. unfortunately, I haven't got any text of what he would like to say, so we haven't been able to get hold of him.
Well,
emailing, calling, and texting him.
You know, I'm sorry to say that Councillor Williams hasn't responded, but we need it now to move on. So without that, so we can turn to debate then, can't we? So once again, if you wish to speak, please raise your hand function. We're in debate, members. Thank you.
Councillor Kindersley, Chair.
Yeah, Councillor Kindersley, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I think this is an eminently sensible application. I can't see that there's any difficulty with it at all. The one sticking point, which was the crossing outlined by CamCycle, isn't actually relevant to the application in any case. So I can't see that the committee has any other choice other than to proceed with approval as set out in the officer's excellent report, for which I would like to say a particular thank you.
Thank you for those lovely kind comments, Councillor Kindersley. Obviously,
sorry, Chair.
No, carry on.
I said Councillor Scott next.
Carry on, Councillor Scott, when you're ready, please.
Thank you. Yes, I just actually wanted to say what an excellent report it is too, and how marvellous the design of the school is. The only question I did have, but I didn't put it originally because I'm sure it's been dealt with appropriately, but was about the materials and why there hadn't been able to be a decision about materials. But I particularly wanted to emphasise support for the playing areas that the children have, where the emphasis is on enabling them to develop their imaginative approach to those play areas. I think that's really excellent. And I just want to finally say that the right to play is in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And I'm really so pleased to see that in this school design, and it's an approach now, there is this idea that children's right to play is a real part of their development and not dictating how the children should organise themselves, but encouraging them to take the initiative. I think that's really wonderful. Now, I also just want to finally add, I've actually got to leave at 11, so that if the debate's not finished by then, I want to emphasise that I would like to support the application. Thanks. I wouldn't ordinarily leave, but the university is in discussions because of lockdown. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Scott.
Sorry, Councillor Harford, Chair.
Yeah, Councillor Hartford, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Chairman. As I've already said, I was party to the original debate when this was first considered, and there was almost unanimous concern about conflict between different transport modes. So I just want to say that for my part, I have scrutinised what has been done to address that reason for refusal, and I mean, this is a site that isn't without constraints. I think members need to be aware of that. And I think that what has been done to address that reason for refusal is very sound, and I certainly will be supporting this application today.
Thank you, Councillor Hartford, for those nice kind comments. Anyone else, Dan?
Councillor Hunt next.
Councillor Hunt, please.
I'd just like to repeat what my colleagues have said, that it's an excellent report, and I entirely agree with Councillor Kindersley, and I'm very happy, if no one hasn't done it already, to either propose we accept the officer's recommendation, or if someone already has, then I'm very happy to second it.
Well, okay, thanks for that, Councillor Hunt.
Finally, it's Councillor Gardner, Chair.
Councillor Gardner, please.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you to the officers for a tremendous report. Really, I was following on from what Councillor Hartford had to say with regard to the transport and separating out cars, cycles and scooters. I think that's an excellent the way that's been done, and I would wholeheartedly support this particular proposal, Chairman. And if you need a seconder or a proposer, which I don't think you do, then I'm quite happy to do that.
Lovely, thanks for that. So have we concluded the debate?
Chair, Emma wants to come back on something, I think.
Okay, carry on.
If I may, Chairman, I think there are two things that have come up through the discussion and also following on from what the planning agent for the applicant team has raised, which is if we have a look at informative, I think it's informative number 7 in the pack, which is on page 43, I think. Let's have it, yeah, 43 of 68. At the moment, that is reference to the pedestrian gate, which is in effect creating a waiting area for parents. Bearing in mind what Councillor Gardner has said, I wonder if it would be prudent to actually amend that informative 7. So we make reference to the pedestrian gate being opened at least 30 minutes prior to the opening of the school, but have something in about the car access gate being closed, because I think at the moment there's a bit of a confusion between what that informative is saying. And I think as we've already had Dr. Finney's support, I don't think he will mind us just amending that so it is clear that it's the pedestrian gate that needs to be open 30 minutes before and the vehicular gate that needs to be closed.
Certainly from the Highway Authority's perspective, clarity is key, and I would be very supportive of that.
Lovely. Sorry, Councillor Connor, you were on mute.
About that, yes, the dogs were barking, so I had to put it on mute. So yes, I think that's a really, really good thing. So with Councillor Finney's permission for that, I think we can add that into the condition, can't we? So, okay, so members, Dan, have we finished the debate, or are we going to carry on with this?
That looks like, oh, Councillor Hunt is on mute.
You've had a proposal from me that we accept the.
Lovely. Well, we're still in debate at the moment, Councillor Hunt, but we will move to that very shortly. That I think that I can see.
There's no one else left to speak, Chair. So
right. Thanks very. So thanks very much for that, then. So we'll now, members, can I have a proposer and a seconder for the recommendation as set out in the report? Thank you. So I need a proposer, please.
Chairman, I think I proposed it initially.
You did, but we were still in debate then. But I will take that now, Councillor Kindersley, as you proposed.
And I would like then to second it, if I may.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Councillor Hunt. So we've got a proposal to go with officer recommendation proposed by Councillor Kindersley, seconded by Councillor Hunt. I'll now go to each committee member in turn if they agree with the recommendation set out in the report. So I'll go now to Councillor Gardner.
I support the proposal.
Councillor Hartford.
Approve.
Councillor Hunt.
Approve.
Councillor Kindersley.
Approve.
Councillor Scott.
Yes, I support the proposal.
Councillor Smith.
Approve.
And I support the proposal myself. So would Democratic Services Officer report the outcome of the vote, please?
Thank you, Chair. So the outcome of that vote is unanimous, and that's subject to the amendment to informative 7.
Absolutely correct. Thank you very much for that. So with that, then, that application has been approved. Thank you very much for that, councillors. So that just leaves us now with agenda 5, summary of decisions taken under delegated powers. Members, we are now, so can members, any questions, if they have, or clarifications on any of those delegated, can they raise their hand function, please?
No hands are raised, Chair.
Right, so thank you, members. We've been asked to note the report, which we've duly done. That concludes the meeting for this morning. Thank you very much for attending, and please keep safe. And thank you very much for all attending. Thanks.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much.